stamps, but these are for the illegals in Springfield. And we have some people who worked at the grocery store who knew the extent of the food stamps that were given to the Haitians.
I can tell you personally that when I worked at the grocery store and I cashed them out, the receipts were alarming. $13,000 on EBT food, not including the $29,000 that was on EBT cash. It's infuriating. Yes, sir.
So they're not getting $600 to $1,500
and while they're dressed very well, how are you able to dress like that?
Those are insane numbers.
Yeah, really. I don't think anyone knew that it was like that. They might be thinking, oh, a couple $100, $600, $500 a month. That was $13,000, $20,000 cash.
Charged officially, and he had his first court date.
Russell Brand.
What did I say?
Russell Peterson.
Let's start over.
I got so confused.
So Russell Brand. So Russell Brand has been charged officially, and he had his first court date. And so let me just play this. So let's just remember, what is he charged with? He's charged with the R word. I don't want to say it because it'll get demonetized. He's charged with indecent assault and the S assault. So 3 different things from some of them 30 years ago.
It's not like the same thing.
I heard one of them was like one of them was that he touched a boob of someone. I think that's the indecent assault. So here he is. So what is the point of asking him that question? Well, why would you ask that question? But anyway, that's the beauty of corporate news. Now let's remember where these charges came from. These women didn't go to the police. This came from a hit job, a coordinated hit job in the UK press after Russell Brand came out against the establishment and told the truth about COVID. That was his big sin.
They went to find women
to
do it.
So the newspapers went and interviewed every woman who ever knew him for the last 30 years, and they got four of them to come and say something anonymously, by the way. They were saying it anonymously in the newspaper, so it was all anonymous. They didn't go to the newspapers. The newspapers went to them and ginned this up. And
MI5.
So, yeah, you please don't tell me this isn't exactly what they did to Julian Assange. Do you remember what they did to Julian Assange?
No, I can't remember anything more than a month ago because I'm a good American.
They did the exact same thing to Julian. This is the playbook.
Yeah, it's so obvious.
Remember, for years, people were like, "Oh, he's a creep. He raped those women." Do you know what?
Prince Andrew was free, and
Prince Andrew was free.
King Charles used to hang out with Jimmy Savile and Lord whatever. The 3 of them have special black berets made that only they have. They're not military, whatever the hell that means. I bet it ain't good. They allowed grooming gangs to exist. I've heard about this, for like 10 years
Everybody
now.
knows about this, that they don't...
and they don't even want to talk about a grooming gang.
They don't even want to talk about it. Not only do they not prosecute it, they don't even want to talk about it, but they got a star for stuff that he allegedly did 25 and 30 years ago.
That isn't, none of it, which I did read the article, none of it counted as anything, even what they had there. It was all stuff to make you go, oh, but there was nothing. I'm like, where's the crime here? There wasn't any. So now they gin something up. They're probably holding something over somebody to make them, because you would have thought when Me Too happened, that's when all the Russell Brand accusations would have come out, wouldn't it?
No, it came out.
That was a free-for-all, wasn't it?
No.
There were none during the Me Too times, because it's 30 years ago it happened.
This is exactly
what bring it up.
This is the playbook of the establishment. Julian Assange, perfect example of that. And of course, those charges all just went away because they were all bullshit. And they did the same thing. And by the way, this is no defense of Trump, but they did the same thing to Trump. And the reason why I bring it up, because if they can do it to Trump, they'll do it to you or anybody. So you know how they you know how they brought Trump back on that? They didn't criminally prosecute him for rape, Trump. There was a civil case from that woman, Jean Carroll, right?
Because he said she's not even my type.
So you know what they did?
Because he likes.
You know what they did? They got the New York State legislature to change the Constitution. So there was a statute of limitations on that kind of accusation. They gave a 1-year holiday for that. Well, anybody who has an accusation, we're going to lift this. And why they did that specifically so that woman could accuse Trump of that in a court.
That's why Diddy got caught up.
That's
a loophole.
That's exactly why they did that. Do you see how far they'll go, the establishment will go to get somebody? And of course, they did it under the guise of, we're doing this for women. They did it so Jean Carroll could do that. They got the judge. You know the judge in that case for Trump? The judge in that case was the judge that put
Donziger on house arrest.
Steve Donziger took Shell Oil and the oil companies to Chevron to court for polluting the groundwater, which they did. He won. He won like a $7 billion...
The largest settlement ever. The largest... For indigenous people who got poisoned by Chevron.
For the indigenous people, was it in South America or Central America?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they get this. So then they get this corrupt judge to put Steve Donziger, after he wins the lawsuit, in jail. And of course, it was all garbage. It took years and years and years for him to win, and I'm sure hundreds of thousands in legal costs.
Liberals knew about it. Breaking Points mentioned him. A lot of people knew how wrong that was.
Everybody knew how wrong that was.
Trump, they don't remember this judge.
So everybody knew how wrong that was. Steve Donziger. They got the same judge somehow to preside over Donald Trump. So they found the most corrupt judge in the country. They had to completely overturn the New York Constitution, give this kind of holiday on statute of limitations, so this Jean Carroll could then do that lawfare to Donald Trump. So you saw all the law. So you see what they do. So if you don't, so this smacks exactly of that, what they're doing to Russell Brand. Exactly.
Well, guess what? I predict he's going to go the way of Jordan Peterson at the end of the day, because he's in a hard place with nonsense laws come at him. So then you got to make a friend. And what did Jordan Peterson do?
His friend is Israel.
And his friend is Israel. And now I understand why Russell was doing that stupid thing with Shapiro, where Russell Brand confronts Ben Shapiro about Christ. And like, who made this? Why did you make this? And Russell looks like Jesus out of casting, and and you're not talking about Gaza, though. You're going to argue about Christ. So that reeks of a PR propaganda thing to me. I mean, it reeks of it.
So let's just see him walk in.
Out of the way, Pete. Anything to say, Mr. Brand?
So really, the cops can't clear out a pathway for him? They can't. So when he shows up at the court, they can't clear out a pathway so he could walk in. They have to make him sit there and get heckled and harassed by asshole corporate media pricks, by bottom feeders. This is all on purpose.
Remember what Kamala did to that black single mother who
That's
worked
right.
at the hospital and her daughter couldn't go to school? Legit excuse. And made sure that she got perp walked in front of.
That's right. This is their perp walk for him.
That's what this is.
Yeah, there's no other way in.
How are you feeling, Russell?
Yeah.
Jimmy, I just want to point out that Kevin Spacey is making his way back into everybody's good graces right now. And nobody had nothing about Russell Brand during the Me Too times, that was your time to just bring out something from a long time ago and try to make it into a real crime. That was your time. That's over now. The only way it's coming against you now is intelligence doesn't like you. So he's going to cozy up to Israel is my prediction, because I don't know what choice he has, because they're going to try to put him in prison. Just like, what's his name? And I haven't heard Russell talk about Gaza like that. Have you, or am I wrong?
I haven't heard. But this is from the Times. It says Russell Brand accused of the R word after Labor Party conference. Russell Brand has appeared in court for the first time, accused of a offense including R-ing a woman after a Labor Party conference in Bournemouth. Wearing a black shirt, jeans, and brown boots, the comedian and actor, who's 49, did not enter pleas at Westminster Magistrates Court, but previously he said that he is innocent. Suki Dada, for the prosecution, told the 12-minute hearing that Brand faces 2 charges of the R word, 2 charges of sexual assault, and 1 charge of indecent assault. The allegations relate to 4 women. Brand arrived at court with Oliver Schneider Sikorsky, the solicitor who successfully defended Kevin Spacey. Brand had traveled from his home in the United States for the hearing. The court heard that Brand is alleged to have R-ed a woman in September of 1999.
Dude,